Hi ho, it's Silver here for another night to talk about happiness. And happiness is a kind of a weird topic right now, don't you think? Because there's a lot of just really bizarre stuff happening in the world and definitely in the United States. And so when I thought about what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, I thought, I wanted to really discuss the whole thing about what to do when you can't keep your spirits up, because I was pretty down yesterday. I was pretty down about just the sadness that's going on in our country and how we are seem to be fighting each other, and how in history this happens over and over again. And once my mind got a hold of the thought process, it was bad. So um, I was thinking about when I was clinically depressed and some of the things that I looked at, when I learned how to get out of my depression, when I was looking back, some of the things that helped me. And I remember when I was a kid, part of I had what is called school night insomnia. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this, but basically it was that I would lie awake until 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, obsessed with the fact that I was going to be in trouble the next day at school because I hadn't done my homework. And in all that time, when I laid awake, all those years that I laid awake, it never once occurred to me to get up and just do my homework. I would sneak into the bathroom and I would read books, and I would rearrange my dad's medicine cabinet alphabetically, and I would do all these weird things, but it never occurred to me to just sneak into the bathroom and do my homework. So what I gleaned from that over the years is that action cancels fear every time. And so I allowed myself to wallow a little bit yesterday, I'll admit to that. But then I thought about, well, what can I do? I mean, I certainly can't stop the rioting. I don't want to stop the protests, but I can't stop the rioting, which is the bad part of it. And but what I can do is write some letters. I can contribute, and that's part of what I did yesterday. I gave some money to elect women, because I honestly believe in my heart that the more women we have in elected offices, the better things will get. I don't know if you saw the news article, but the countries that did best during the real thick of the COVID-19 crisis were all run by women. And so maybe we have just a different way of doing things. I don't know, but I'd sure like to find out. But when it comes to what I'm feeling now and what many of you may be feeling, it really occurs to me that we're in grief. I know I'm in grief. At first it was anger. I went through all the stages. First it was just like denial, like this will be over tomorrow, and then it wasn't. And then I went into anger, anger at what was causing this unrest. And I'm not angry about it anymore, but I definitely want to see something done about it. And that's where the action comes in. And then I went through just feeling sad. And what I don't, because that's really what's underneath the anger for me, is deep sadness and a feeling of helplessness. And the minute we can start to feel like there's something that we can do, then, and it could even just be sharing something positive on Facebook about what's happening, seeing some of the light that's coming through on all of this, instead of just the darkness. But I just don't want to stay here, because I know it doesn't do any good. And I also know that you get more of what you focus on. So the more I focus on what's not working in our country, the more I'm going to attract that unworkability. So if you're feeling the same way, I'd really have you take a look and see what you can do, what action you can produce before it morphs into depression. And one of the things I can tell you that never, ever, ever works for me is to spend long periods of time alone with my mind, because I start really obsessing about all the negativity, and it just morphs, and it's law of attraction. It spirals and spirals and spirals and spirals, and it spirals down. So I don't know. I'd really like to find out, from you, if you can just post what you're feeling and whether your feelings are happening the same way. But um, I'd like to see us somehow figure out where the good is and how we can support more of that. And I think one of the things you're going to find over the next couple of weeks is there's going to be some things formed that are, different causes forming that'll need your support. And 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 I'll tell you, one of the most moving things that I saw today on the news, and this just gave me such great hope, is I saw that in Orlando, a couple of police officers were talking to some of the protesters, and they all knelt down and prayed together. Now, I thought that gave me more hope than almost anything else, is to see them pray together. And it also gives me hope to see the peaceful protesters, because our country was founded on the right to protest. And that just makes my heart happy to see people protest. I believe that the people that are doing the negative stuff and the looting and the violent stuff are just opportunists, that they don't really care about the cause. They're just opportunists. But they're also angry, and a lot of them have a right to be angry. So, this isn't the most uplifting message, I know, but I'm really wanting to share with you from my heart how I'm feeling, because I know that me, who is really Susie Sunshine most of the time, if I'm feeling this, you must be feeling it as well. And it's important that we're able to express that and give each other some hope. So action cancels fear every time. Figure out what kind of action that you can get into, and then do that. And the more that you can focus on the uplifting things that you're seeing on social media or on the news, the more you'll be party to attracting that into the world. And I don't know about you, but that's what I want to do. So that's my short and simple message tonight. I haven't given up hope. I'll never give up hope. I do say that if I only have a certain number of years left, as we all do, I want to spend them happy, and I don't want to turn a blind eye to what's going on, but I only want to pay attention to it when I'm actually doing something to help it. And the more that I focus on the horror of it, the more I'm actually causing more of it to come into the world. So you do get more of what you focus on. And I have found that over and over again. It's the one thing that pulled me out of my depression, is starting to focus on what I'm grateful for. And I am grateful that we live in a country where people can protest peacefully, and it's okay. It's not against the law, and it is not against the law to protest peacefully. It's the First Amendment of the First Amendment of our Constitution. And that's probably the last time you'll hear me quote the Constitution, because I'm certainly no constitutional scholar. But go out there, focus on what's working. If you can contribute to any cause, please do so. And pray. If you pray for the protesters, pray for the police, pray for our politicians to make the right choices. And above all, love one another. Love one another and reach out and support each other. And that's it. If you like what you hear tonight and you want more, I have on my website, I have something called a mini workshop about passionate self-care. And everything I talk about has to do with passionate self-care. And so if you go to silverhappiness.com and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see my free mini workshop, and I'd love to make that gift to you. And also, just let me know how you're feeling these days, because I do want to hear from you. So, as the Lone Ranger used to say, for now, away.